Any second guessing here about not having Clark on the Olympic team?
From me? No.
Remember when Cheryl Reeve, the general manager and head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, said she didn't give two shits about Caitlin Clark? Well, guess what? Turns out those two are worth a whole lot of money now. The Minnesota Lynx just pulled the most shameless cash grab we've seen in the WNBA, and it's all because of Clark.
As a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side. I mean,
I'll get two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
You won't believe how quickly Reeve changed her tune when she realized Clark could fill her coffers. We're talking a complete one, 80 folks. From Olympic snub to sudden superfan, Reeve's journey is a masterclass in hypocrisy. But wait until you hear about the ticket scheme that's got fans absolutely furious. Are you ready? Let's go.
So we know the Caitlin Clark effect is real, obviously. It is incredibly obvious that it's real. But this might just sum it up more than anything else. But the reality is, Caitlin Clark is a bigger draw than the WNBA Finals, and it's proven by this.
Remember, when Cheryl Reeve couldn't care less about Caitlin Clark? Well, times have changed, and fast. Let's take a quick trip down memory lane when it came time to pick the Team USA Olympic roster. Clark's name was nowhere to be found, and Reeve silent as a church mouse. When asked about Clark's impact on fan attendance, Reeve dismissed it with a shrug. Talk about ice cold.
Hey, dummies. For the first time, in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world. You could argue right now, Caitlin Clark is the most talked about, discussed, most popular, most puts asses in the seats, single basketball player in the world. You could argue that. Yeah, you could say maybe LeBron, Luka, whatever you want, but you can argue it. And you leave her off the Olympics team, it's not only a showcase for her, it's for the sport and the other WNBA players who are on this team. How dumb, how brain dead, how idiotic do the people running this thing have to be?
But here's where things get interesting. The Fever roll into town, and suddenly the Target Center is packed. It's like someone flipped a switch and boom, everyone wants to see a Lynx game. And who's the star of the show? Caitlin Clark. Now, you'd think Reeve would double down on her skepticism, right? Wrong. This is where Reeve's tune starts to change. It's like watching a stubborn old dog learn a new trick slowly at first. Then all at once,
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around. Because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb you are.
Before you know it, Reeve's singing Clark's praises. What gives? Could it be the sold-out arenas, the sky-high TV ratings, the jersey sales through the roof? You bet it is. Reeves realized what we've known all along. Caitlin Clark is money in the bank. And the numbers don't lie. We're talking record-breaking attendance, the most watched WNBA draft ever with 2.4 million viewers. And the Indiana Fever's attendance skyrocketing from 4,000 fans in 2023 to 17,000 in 2024. That's not just an increase, that's a revolution.
Caitlin Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out to get her. They don't want to grow the game.
Clark's not just living up to the hype. She's rewriting the record books. All-time rookie leader in assists and three-pointers. Made check, 62 records broken in her rookie season. You bet. It's like watching a highlight reel in real time every single game. So, what's a coach to do when faced with this undeniable force of nature? If you're Cheryl Reeve, you swallow your pride and jump on the Caitlin Clark bandwagon. Suddenly, Clark's not just a good player. She's a transcendent roadshow and the headliner that women's basketball needed. But hold on to your seats, folks. This love fest isn't all sunshine and rainbows. There's a ticket. Controversy brewing that's about to throw a wrench in the works.
If you guys don't know, teams have season tickets. In general, teams have season tickets. Sometimes teams have half-season tickets. Sometimes have all these other packages. But one team, the Minnesota Lynx, have decided, you know what? We've got our season tickets. But, we're cool with charging you guys like $30 per game for all of these. But when Caitlin Clark comes to town, we're going to be adding 10 times the price probably. Like, you're probably looking at $300 tickets when Caitlin Clark comes to town.
But here's the million-dollar question. How much is a Caitlin Clark game worth? According to the Lynx, it's priceless. Literally, their new ticket package is raising eyebrows and emptying wallets faster than you can say cash grab. So if you guys didn't see, there is a package for away games, for home games for the Minnesota Lynx.
So if you guys didn't see, there is a package for away games for home games for the Minnesota Lynx. So you can see here, these are half-season packages. So you can purchase packages to see every other game. You can get half-season packages for all of these games here, all of these games here. Option to add Fever games. Purchase a half-season package to receive access to add on the Fever game.
Let's break this down. The Lynx have cooked up a half-season ticket package with a whopping $850 price tag. But here's the twist. It conveniently leaves out the games against the Indiana Fever. You heard that right. It's a ticket package to watch Lynx games against all the other teams except one. And you can't even buy single-game tickets to see Clark and the Fever. Nope. You've got to go all in on this package first. You cannot buy a ticket to the Fever game.
You cannot buy a ticket to the Fever game without buying a half-season package. That is how confident they are in this. You cannot buy a ticket straight up for the Fever unless you are at all the other games. So you can't just buy a ticket to the Fever. Any other game, cool. The other games are all in the packages. And they're probably charging as much as the entire package to just watch the Fever game. Which is absolutely crazy. Like,
fans aren't just mad, they're fuming. Social media is lit up with people calling out the Lynx. One fan hit the nail on the head saying, "I was bummed. I did the half-season last year for the Lynx. Not doing it this time, though. They lost me on this decision." Another chimed in, "This is the most shameless money grab in any league history. Can't deny who the face is any longer."
we knew the Caitlin Clark effect is real, but it's like, there are people still oblivious to it. Still people absolutely oblivious to it. But you've now got like purchase a half-season ticket to receive access to add on the Fever games. The Go has her own package. She literally has her own package. They could even sell out Gamebridge for day one of Fever camp. They 100% could. I'm sorry, they could sell out Gamebridge for day one of Fever's training camp. There's a 0% chance they couldn't.
While the Lynx are playing hardball. Other WNBA teams are rolling out the red carpet for Clark fans, the Seattle Storm and New York Liberty. They're including Fever games in their packages. It's like the Lynx are running a basketball speakeasy where the password is, "Show me the money." You know what this reminds me of? It's like when a fancy restaurant suddenly jacks up the prices because they got a good review. Sure, they might make a quick buck in the short term, but how long before the regulars start looking for a new spot?
If Unrivaled, if somebody got injured for Unrivaled, and it was while they're waiting for someone, they were like, "We've got Caitlin Clark for one day and one day only," but instead we're going to move it into wherever, is it in Orlando or it's in Miami, where Miami, the Miami Heat play in the American Airlines Arena is Miami, or is it the American Airlines Center? Is that the Mavs? American Airlines Arena, I think, is Miami, or whatever it's called now. So you could move it to there, unrivaled, and it would sell out in 10 minutes if she was there for one night and one night only. That's the reality of the situation.
This move by the Lynx is about as subtle as a brick through a window. They're trying to surf the Caitlin Clark wave all the way to the bank. Remember when Reeve couldn't care less about Clark fans filling seats? Funny how a few sold-out arenas can change a tune, huh? You've got to wonder what the Lynx are thinking. Do they really believe fans will just roll over and accept this? It's like they've forgotten the first rule of sports without the fans. You're just playing in an empty gym.
Like, I've never seen a team do something like this before. Maybe there is. Maybe there has been, but I've never heard of season tickets that discount certain games just because they're the bigger games. And also the fact that you have to pay, you have to buy a season ticket. Like, I've seen times where in order to get access to certain games, you have to basically, it's first come, first serve with season tickets and stuff. Like, as a Leeds United fan, to see the playoff final, it was like season tickets got first preference. Then you had to have gone to 10 games during the year.
For that amount of money, you could buy a decent TV and watch every Fever game from your couch. Heck, you could probably fly to Indiana, catch a game, and still have cash left over for a nice dinner. But the Lynx, they're acting like they've got Clark locked in a vault, and $850 is the key. Imagine being a Lynx player right now. You're busting your butt on the court, and your own team is basically saying, yeah, but you're not Caitlin Clark.
My favorite part about this is it is the home of I don't give two shits about Caitlin Clark, Cheryl Reeve.
This ticket controversy is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Clark's impact on the WNBA. So how did we even get here? And what did Reeve really have to say about Caitlin Clark? We'll get to that in a bit. But before that, let's break down some numbers.
The amount of people that still call AJ Wilson the face of the league. I'm sorry, you don't need to purchase a 10-game package for the option to watch AJ Wilson play basketball. You don't. And AJ Wilson is in, obviously it's everyone in the packages to see every other team other than the Fever.
Get ready for some mind-blowing figures because Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA is nothing short of revolutionary. Let's start with the big one, TV ratings. The WNBA just recorded its highest ratings year ever with Clark at the center of it all. Some of her games are even outperforming NBA games on NBA TV. That's right. A rookie is pulling in more viewers than established NBA stars.
And when you take into stock the fact that outside of Kevin Durant, aging superstar, LeBron James, 40 years old, and Steph Curry, there's not a single NBA player more popular today than Caitlin Clark. That is a problem.
But wait, there's more. Last season, 20 out of 23 games that drew over 1 million viewers featured Clark and the Indiana Fever. That's not just star power, that's a full-blown phenomenon. It's like she's the Beatles of women's basketball, drawing crowds wherever she goes. Speaking of crowds, teams are literally moving games to larger arenas just to fit all the Clark fans. The league's 2024 season opener, highest attendance in 26 years. It's like they're preparing for a rock concert, not a basketball game. And let's not forget this team owner who keeps on complaining, despite bulk of her arena's attendance coming from Caitlin Clark games.
Over 31% of the Mystics' entire attendance was in 2 games the Caitlin team played against the Mystics. The Sparks, the Aces, the Mystics, the Dream, all moved games when Fever came in town because of the attention that Caitlin and her teammates have drawn that last season. Fever's jersey sales was up 1,000% and attendance was up 250%. And they had the largest attendance on average per year, just over 17,000 per game.
And let's talk merch clerks, 22. Jersey is the top seller across the entire WNBA. The whole league is seeing record merchandise sales, as if Clark sprinkled some magic dust on every piece of WNBA gear out there. Even the WNBA Finals felt the Clark effect. With over 2 million viewers on average and Game 5 peaking at 3.3 million, that's the most watched finals game in 25 years. And while Clark wasn't even playing in the finals, her impact on the league's popularity undoubtedly played a part in those numbers.
Such an incredible moment on a global scale for our game, for our players.
It's like the fans are absolutely incredible. It's the same when we go on the road. Like there's so many people that are showing up in fever gear. It's really affecting, teams all across our league, which is a really great thing. And, really, I think we're just scratching the surface.
Even Cheryl Reeve, the queen of understatement, had to admit it. She called it the Caitlin Clark effect, saying Clark's entry into the draft created a wave of enthusiasm that's translating into big business for the league. So here's the million-dollar question. Is this just a flash in the pan? Or is Caitlin Clark ushering in a new era for women's basketball?
Future Hall of Famer, and has had a great impact on the game already.
What are some things that you're seeing from Caitlin Clark that stands out to you?
I know what you're thinking. Big deal. Clark selling tickets. But let's zoom out for a second. Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the Fever or the Lynx. She's reshaping the entire WNBA landscape. And it's happening faster than you can say. Three-pointer. Think about it. Other teams are watching this ticket fiasco like hawks. You bet they're taking notes and planning their own Clark-centric strategies. We could be looking at a future where every team jacks up prices when Clark comes to town. It's a slippery slope, and fans might end up paying the price. Literally.
I think makes her special. I know everyone will talk about the logo threes, and Steph Curry did that for the NBA, right? Think about his popularity because his ability, this little guy, slight of build, running around splashing threes everywhere, right? It's exciting.
But here's the thing. It's not just about tickets. Clark's changing how teams scout, market, and build their rosters. Suddenly, every team's looking for the next Caitlin Clark. It's like the three-point revolution, but for an entire player. And guess what? The players are watching too. They're probably in the gym right now working on their long-range shots and flashy passes. We could be on the cusp of a new era in women's basketball. More offense, more long-range shooting, more star power.
But just sort of, understanding the physicality of the pro game, and likely the FIBA game, when she gets in that space, she will be very targeted towards, I believe, growing her physical strength and her ability to exist in spaces against, bigger, stronger athletes than what she faced in college. So obviously, future Hall of Famer, and has had a great impact on the game already.
But here's the million-dollar question. Is this good for the WNBA in the long run? Are we looking at the dawn of a new golden age? Or is this a bubble that's bound to burst? Some experts are comparing Clark's impact to that of Steph Curry in the NBA. They're talking about how her style could influence how teams scout and build their rosters in the future. We might be looking at a whole new style of play, folks. And it's not just about the on-court action. The WNBA is overall growth, fueled by Clark's popularity, has led to discussions about potential expansion and increased media rights deals. That's big money talk, and it could mean a brighter future for women's basketball as a whole.
It is an interesting situation, but what do you guys think? Do you guys think teams should be allowed to do this? Like, it is... Look, all these things are supply and demand at the end of the day. So, no matter what, you really think, no matter what really opinions you have on it, the unfortunate truth of it all is, in life, pretty much everything is supply and demand. So, the demand is going to be there for the Fever game. So I think Indiana, or not even Indiana, Minnesota are going to do that, and I don't think they're going to be the only team to do something like this.
Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent. She's bringing in new fans left and right. The WNBA is overall, viewership is through the roof with the highest attendance in 26 years. That's huge. And Clark's games, they're consistently drawing massive crowds and sky-high TV ratings. Let's be real, being a WNBA fan is about to get a whole lot more interesting and potentially a whole lot more expensive. It's not just about the ticket prices either. We're talking increased media rights deals, potential league expansion, the works. That's great for the league. But what does it mean for you sitting at home just wanting to catch a game?
I don't know if it's right. It's not right. It's unfortunately not right. I don't know though if it's still like if you guys think it is right, morally right.
Clark isn't just changing the game on the court. She's shifting the entire fan demographic. The WNBA is reporting a surge in viewership and merchandise sales, with Clark's jersey flying off the shelves faster than you can say. Three-pointer. So where does this leave us? On one hand, we've got a league that's more exciting than ever with new fans pouring in and records being shattered. On the other, we've got long-time supporters feeling like they're being priced out of their own passion. It's a classic case of growing pains, and how the WNBA handles it could make or break the league's future.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar, not a female superstar. She is a superstar.
We were coming to see Caitlin Clark play.
She moves the needle. The WNBA has been looking for someone who moves the needle.
Let's be real, folks. The Caitlin Clark effect isn't just hype. It's a full-blown phenomenon, shaking up the WNBA from record-breaking attendance to skyrocketing viewership. Clark's influence is everywhere, forcing the entire league to rethink its game plan. Remember, Cheryl Reeves won 80. That's just the beginning. This Clark mania is reshaping everything from scouting to marketing to expansion talks. But here's the million-dollar question. How will the WNBA capitalize on this momentum for long-term growth? Will we see more stars rise, new teams join, or a shift in how women's basketball is perceived globally? The future of the WNBA hangs in the balance. Are you ready to be part of this game-changing era in women's basketball? Let us know in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.